Welcome back to the channel. Today we're taking on a hidden gem in the Eastern Sierra, Leviathan Mine Rd. Starting from Highway 395, we'll climb our way up through the rugged backcountry all the way to Monitor Pass on Highway 89, checking out Leviathan Mine on the way. We begin our ride just off of Highway 395 between the towns of Gardnerville and Topaz, Nevada, and quite near a summit called Simee Dimeh. That's an old Washoe word. The first stretch of the road is paved and passes through a beautiful valley with some businesses. But eventually we start the serious climb and it gets very remote as we head up into the high Sierra. We're in high desert terrain with sagebrush and wide open skies. It feels remote. You'll likely have the road completely to yourself. About halfway up, we reached Leviathan Mine, an historic site with a complicated past. Once a sulfur mine, it left behind some environmental issues, but it also offers a fascinating glimpse into Sierra history. As we continue, the desert gives way to pine forests. The air cools, the grade steepens, and we start to feel the true challenge of the road. After a steady climb, we finally top out at Monitor Pass, 8,314 feet above sea level. On the return, I discover an incredible single-track trail, but caution is in order. There's no cell phone reception, and if something happens out here, I will not make it out alive. Let's go check it out. All right, folks, so we're heading out Leviathan Road. Seems pretty smooth and busy so far. Howdy. Looks like there's a couple ranches here on this initial part. So I'm a little bit surprised that the first part is paved, but I'm fine with it. All right, folks, so that was a nice valley. We're about 1.3 miles in. It's still semi-paved, but it's got kind of dirt on it, so it's kind of a mix, but it's still super smooth. And as you can see, over that away, looking west or southwest, this is where the end of the valley is. But now's probably a good time to tell you a little bit about Leviathan Mine Rd. It's, of course, the road leading to Leviathan Mine, which is a toxic sulfur mine. And we'll talk more about that when we get there. Okay, so this road originates on Highway 395 between Gardnerville and Topaz, Nevada. And it's not far from the summit up there. I forget the name of it, I'll put that down below. And then it takes us up to Monitor Pass in California, which is Highway 89. It's a beautiful pass to ride your bike on. Of course, it's a paved pass, but this is just sort of a dirt cutoff to get there. The highlights today are going to be the Leviathan Mine, and also, of course, the Monitor Pass and the views from the summit up there. It's a beautiful spot. I think it's about 15 miles one way up to the pass, 15, 16. So it'll be about 30 to 32 miles, 4,000 feet of climbing, I think. My understanding is the road is mostly good, but there's some area that's washed out in the middle, and we'll check that out. All right, so you can see it's kind of a radical change in terrain right away. We get out of that valley, and now we're in the hills. There's a vulture right up ahead there. Just flew out of the trees. And it seemed a little busy out in the valley out there, but once you get back here, it's pretty quiet. I think it's just because there's all those homes and businesses. Looking down there to the right, you can see there's another road down there. Let's see where that one goes. If you look carefully, you can see the road going through that little valley there, and we'll have to figure out where that one goes. Well, I'm not sure if you can see my Garmin there, but if you look at the profile, you can see that I'm on the green there, and it's just about to turn to quite a climb right up ahead, so we'll see how that goes. Oopsie daisy. Not sure how that happened. Looks like somebody needs a rescue. It doesn't look too bad though. Looks like a tow rig could pull it out without damage. Do you wonder how in the hell they did that? I wonder if they tried to turn around or something. But that seems hard to do, but you know, people will do just about anything. All right, so we had a little descent and now we're in some trees. And we still haven't climbed all that much, but it's all climbing from here. I'm looking down to my left here, and I see looks like the creek is down there. I don't know the name of the creek offhand, but I'll put it down below. There's a place back there where you can drive in and you can camp in there. It looks like nice camping by the creek if that's your thing. It's a cool spot. All right, so looks like we've gotten to a steeper part and there's a little bit of pavement here. And this might be
I might be getting near the mine, but it's very steep, so I guess they decided to pave it for traction. There's a bit of pavement, and then it turned back to dirt after we got up the steep switchback. It's mile 9.1 now. Okay, so this is the road here. I think that goes to the mine, but it does say no trespassing, health and safety hazard, acid mine drainage, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. And there's a security camera right in front of me. And so I believe that although this is probably the road for trucks to get into the mine, I don't think I'm allowed to go in here, so I'm going to respect that and stay on the road. And that's where my Garmin was telling me to go anyway, so that's what I'm going to do. All right, so we're back at the intersection here, and I'm going to continue heading up the road, and hopefully we'll get a view of the mine perhaps from above, but the plan is to send up the drone from up here higher, and I think we'll be able to take in a view from up above it, because I think this goes around and comes out above the mine. One thing you'll notice here is we've got snow stakes. Apparently that means that perhaps they plow this in the winter, so this road may be needed to access the mine during the winter months. Otherwise, I'm not sure why they would have those there. But they don't continue here for whatever reason. Maybe that's just a place where snow accumulates or something. You can see a barbed wire fence on the right here. Because I look to the hills up to the right here, you can see potentially that could be tailings. It doesn't look all that natural to me. So this could be the mining area. I kind of think it probably is. If I find a good place, I'll send the drone up and we'll have a look at it from above. This looks like a beautiful place to stop. I see some vehicles and some equipment in there. Yeah, right through the trees there, I can see something's going on there. Oh yeah. This you can see is part of the cleanup operation, no doubt. There's another no trespassing sign. Doesn't look like there's anybody there right now. Oh, this is for sure the mine. You can see sign right there says Aspen Seep, and that might be one of the areas they're concerned about. We can see all the equipment here, and I think that's all tailings up there. So I think what we're going to do is go up a little higher and then maybe send up the drone and have a look at it from above, and that'll give us a really nice view of what's going on. I know there's a big pond in there somewhere, so we'll try to check that out. And then you can see the road up to here is really in nice condition. And then right after it, you can see right here, it gets a lot rougher. So that kind of makes sense. But we don't want to go too far away from the mine right now. We want to just stay above it. We are at almost mile 11. Remember, it's like 15 to 16 to the top. Yeah, this road is totally different from the earlier part. And I was told there's a rough part of the road, but this may be it, but this is not bad, especially on the mountain bike. Okay, folks, so here we are standing right above Leviathan Mine, and you can see this is the rougher road that I just came up. So the road is really smooth. It's like two-wheel drive up to the mine, because I think they have to drive big trucks up there. And then after that, it gets rough. So from here to the summit, I think it's going to be a little rougher. But anyway, I'm going to fly the drone over the mine area so you have a look at it. And then I'm going to just talk a little bit about, from what I know about the mine and the toxic nature of the mine and what's going on there now. Leviathan Mine was a sulfur mine that began in the 1860s, I think, 1863 or something like that. And they're mining sulfur, and the reason they were mining sulfur is it was used in the processing of the more valuable minerals, gold, silver, copper, that they were mining in the area. And the sulfur was part of the process of refining it. Now, what happens is, apparently, they expose all the sulfur, and then the water comes down, I think, and it makes sulfuric acid. And the sulfuric acid leaches down into the soil, and that brings out the toxic chemicals like arsenic, chromium, and some others. And that has leached into the creeks around here. And it's been a long battle with the creeks. The creeks are really damaged. There was a period back in the day when the Native Americans were complaining about it. So there's been a big cleanup effort that's been going on for many years. And it's quite a project. And there's these toxic pools they have to try to contain it and then process it and then dealkalize it so it's not acidic and all this stuff. And so that's what's going on here now. And that's why you see all the trucks and construction here. But you can see these look to me to be all tailings from back in the day. So now it's just a cleanup effort. So anyway, I hope you enjoy the view from above. That's the best way to look at it, because you're not allowed in there because it's toxic and it's a restricted area. So by going over it in the air, then we get a kind of an overview, which is kind of cool. So what we're going to do now is continue up this rough road, and I've got the mountain bike right there. So it's fine on the mountain bike. It's kind of steep and rough and rutted and stuff, but it's completely fine on the mountain bike. I wouldn't drive a two-wheel drive car up here
This is more of a Jeep or a 4Runner type road. You could probably do it in an SUV like a RAV4 or something like that. Let's continue on from here, and I'll show you this road as we go up to the summit. And then we're going to get up to Monitor Pass Road, and then I think it's just a short ride on the road to get over to the actual Monitor Pass. So we're going to go all the way up to that point. Okay, so now we're at the southwest end of the mine, and there's another road that goes in there from this side, and you can see these old buildings here. And unfortunately, there's a gate down there, and I don't think we're allowed to go in, so I'm going to respect that. But you can see the old buildings through the trees here. Okay, folks, so here we are at the southwest entrance, as I was talking about. And I think what happens is this is another entrance, and then if you look behind me, the road's pretty good. And so the stretch of road between here, up and over, and then to the other entrance is really rough. And so that's a bad section of road. So you could come in from the top from Monitor Pass or from the bottom from Highway 395, and that'll get you in here. And then if you look closely in the woods there, those are the buildings that I showed you just a minute ago. There's one in there, and then you can just see kind of a roof line up that away. And then this is the health and safety hazard sign, same as the one we saw before. The equipment and structures in this area are needed to address pollution originating from a former sulfur mine. Intensive efforts are underway throughout this area to clean up sources of pollution in order to improve water quality and to restore fish and wildlife habitat. Your cooperation is needed to restore recreational opportunities, including fishing and hunting. This area is under video surveillance, and trespassers will be prosecuted. And there's a number there if you want to call it. It's 530-542-5400. Okay, so now you can see we're back on the smooth road just above the mine, that southwest entrance. It says heavy truck traffic next 3 miles. Presumably it's going to be 3 miles back up to Monitor Pass. I guess as far as utilizing this road, we're at an advantage because they maintain it for the trucks going in and out, except for that 1 mile section between the two entrances. And also one more thing, I want to apologize. I think the name of the mine is Leviathan, and I think I might have referred to it as Leviathan back there. All right, so as we climb out from the mine, the grade has been somewhat reasonable, but this is a very steep part. And once again, they've laid pavement down on the steep part. And that's obviously so the larger trucks can get up this thing. Now here's the top, and this is an intersection here. I need to look into it, but it may be that one of these roads, 3T050, 3T340, perhaps one of these actually goes to the summit. But I think I'm gonna stay on the good road. Even if those are more direct to the summit, it's probably a bit easier to go this way. And we get this splendid view of the High Sierra over that way. Caution blind curve, and you can see they've got mirrors here because they obviously have all the truck traffic. And this is a really good view of kind of what it looks like up at Monitor Pass. It's just a beautiful kind of east side, open, not too many trees, so the views are spectacular. And I'm guessing if we look over that away, those high peaks over there, that's probably Sonora Pass area, because we're just north of Sonora Pass on Monitor Pass. If you look straight ahead that way, or back behind me there, you can see Highway 89. And it's a bit of a descent if we stay on the Mine Road. Here we are just coming out on Highway 89, Monitor Pass. There's a car coming by, I'll let him go. And then we've got to go all the way up to that high point way ahead of us to make it to the pass. Pretty good push up to the pass, but we'll be all right. We're getting pretty close to the summit here. There's a little false summit we go over, and then there's a little flat stretch, and then there's the real Monitor Pass. The climb from that road is about 700 feet, so it's a bit of a climb. And then I did see one of those two forest roads that I called out back there. And if I see that, I'm going to try that on the way back, because I think it might be kind of a shortcut. It's going to be a little rougher, but... All right, so here's the summit, which is kind of the false summit, or not the real pass. And straight ahead, as you can see, that's the pass. It's hard to tell which is higher. They're pretty similar. If you look over to the left, you see a road over there, and that is the road I think I want to try to take back. And look at the map, but I think that'll go through, and that'll be a more efficient way. All right, so here's the final little push up to the pass in this mini aspen grove. And this right here, folks,
is Monitor Pass. So there's the stone plaque, and we'll just pull right up to that. Monitor Pass, elevation 8314, dedicated 9/12/54. All right, folks, so here I am at beautiful Monitor Pass. It's pretty quiet up here. I can stand in the middle of the road. There's the sign, and there's the bike. Now, in order to get back, I can go all the way down the road, 4 miles down or whatever it is, 700 feet, and climb back on Leviathan Mine Rd. However, I think what I'm going to do is go down to that dip down there, take a right into the fire roads. Looking at the map, it looks like there's a way through, but it might be some single track or some rough stuff. So let's go check it out and see how it works out. All right, so here we are leaving Monitor Pass. I'm gonna head down to the flats there and see what the future brings. All right, so here's where we're gonna turn in. From looking at the map, my understanding is that I want to take the left-hand road here. However, I want to go look at the forest road number here, 31083, and that's not one I remember from before. If you look way in the distance there, there's somebody camping up there. This is not a bad place to camp, but we're going to take the other road to the left and see if we can get through on that one. And I'm honestly not sure it's going to work out, but I'm going to give it a try. So this is the left-hand road as you get off the Highway 89, and that's kind of correct because I think what I want to do is go over through that way. And if you stay right over there, you go more east, and I think you end up on Big Springs Road, and that spits you out further down on Highway 89, which is not what we want to do today. So let's just see what happens with this one. Okay, so I just took a left turn, and I think this is the direction I want to go. And so far the trail's not so bad, so we got a fence here. This is not good. No, but it's open. We're all right. Yeah, we're all right. Now, I think this is the right way, but we're going way down into this dip here, so I'm going to consult my map. I think the one that works best right now is the Onyx off-road map. It looks like it goes to a single track, maybe right there, so. All right, this definitely turns into a single track. And so I am not so sure this is gonna go. All right, so this is a little sketch, I'm not gonna lie, but I kind of think it might go through. I mean, it looks like it's a real trail. And I checked the map and I am on course, but it's a little rugged, a little narrow, oh boy, and loose. It looks like, I mean, it kind of looks like some ambitious moto has been through here. All right, so we got a little aspen grove we're kind of going through here. And yeah, this is just a really rugged little trail, but it's been traveled. It's not completely overgrown, so I'm going to assume that it goes through. And one of the things I just realized is that I didn't tell anybody where I was going, and this is a trail where I'm not going to see anybody, so I got to be really careful not to injure myself, because if I do, I'm probably not getting out of here alive, because I don't think there's phone reception back here. Oh my God. The other thing is, you know, it's not like this thing is miles and miles. I think it's just maybe a mile or two, something like that. Nothing super long. Here's a super technical section. I'm definitely not riding this. It's too risky. All right, so now it's a little more foresty and loamy. And actually the trail's a little bit better here. You know, you always worry that you're gonna start down a trail and it's gonna get worse and worse. It's not really happening here. Sometimes you start down a trail and then it peters out, and that's not what's going on. Definitely a pretty trail. I'm not gonna lie, I've got some concerns, but if this keeps going like this is kind of nice, and I'm riding it's not losing a whole lot of time. And since I think it's only a mile or two, probably should get her done pretty quick. And the way the map looks, I come out to what will be a fire road on my left, but I don't want to take that because that goes back out to the highway, and I want to continue on the single track, which will take me back to Leviathan Road. Yoo-hoo. Oh. Oh my God. This is a classic Sierra single track here now. A little rocky and rough, but rideable for sure. Okay, I've just consulted my map. If I'm right, I've already passed the place where I should have maybe seen the fire road, which I didn't see it, but it's pretty rough. But the good news is, according to the map, I've got to come out on my fire road pretty quick here, not the Leviathan road, but another one that will lead to it. That is awesome. Now, it's not a great fire road, but it is a fire road. Okay, so wait a minute, I got to figure out when do I need to go left or right here. I sense I need to go right, but let's have a look at the map. I think I mentioned I'm using Onyx off-road maps, and what it looks like is I want to go up here, not very far, quarter mile, half mile. I'm going to take a left. And again, I'm not back on my road yet, but this is going to lead me to, and it's been kind of a fabulous adventure. All right, so here's our left turn, and it's road 31050, and this is going to take us back toward the Leviathan Mine Rd, if all goes well. A little rocky, but not too bad. I don't really think this route is going to save us any time from going the longer way, but it's a lot more interesting than just riding down the road and back the way we came. I hope you're enjoying it. I sure am. And this should take us back to Leviathan Road. This might be our left spur here, which just is probably goes to perhaps a camping area or something. Yeah, just a little four-wheel drive road. And this one, if all goes well, it's going to take us back to our Leviathan Road. I'll tell you what, if you wanted to drive your Jeep or your 4Runner or your whatever back here, Dodge truck, you would have some peaceful camping. There's a beautiful meadow on the left there. All right, so here we are coming back out to Leviathan Road. So we pulled it off. We pulled off the detour. Don't reckon it saved us any time, but it sure was nice. I'm guessing we're not far from the mine entrance. There it is right there. And so now we got to do that kind of rough road up and over, and then we're back on the easy road. This is pretty incredible. I just passed the southwest entrance of the mine and then came upon this incredible view, which I didn't see on the way down. And I'm going to show you this whole thing. A couple of things to notice. First of all, there's one of the pools over there where they treat the water probably. But look at all these intricate roads here and drainage. These are all like, they're not roads, I'm sorry, they're troughs, they're drainages. So if you look, I'm going to show you a little pano. If you look there, you can see these drainage troughs. So I guess the water leaches down, then it comes into these troughs and maybe then ends up down in the reservoir down there. And then they treat it and then maybe they release it. And then you look up there, that cliff there, that whitish cliff, and you see all these tailings and whatnot. All right, folks, well, that was kind of a bomber descent. We got a little climb and then we'll descend down again to the valley. If you'd like to stick around, I'm going to send up the drone again in the valley and show you that beautiful valley from above. It'll be really nice. But in the meantime, if you like the video, don't forget to give the old thumbs up, like and subscribe. Now, there's a car. I think they, no, this one's there. Okay, pull that thing out of here at some point. Alrighty, folks. Well, up ahead there you can see Highway 395, and over there, that white thing, that's my vehicle, so that's still there. So it looks like we completed the ride. It's about 33 miles and 4,000 feet of climbing. Really a beautiful ride. Really enjoyed that. Fine adventure with the sightings of the mine, the beautiful road, making it to Monitor Pass, and then that epic, really cool single track I found. Well, until next time, folks, thanks for watching. I just have one parting thought, and that is that the name of this road is Leviathan Mine Rd. And I kept butchering it, I kept calling it other things, but it is Leviathan Mine Rd, and I'll spell that down below. So again, apologize for butchering it so many times, but it's the way it goes.